Hello, this is the Hot Hits with Nick and Loren, and this is Spacey Jane. Let's go!
Let's go!
This is so good because we had half of the band on Zoom earlier
Yes.
this year in two separate locations.
Yeah.
And now we got all four of you in the flesh. Is it nice to all be together?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good.
How much time do you actually get to be together physically in the flesh these days? Is it just when you're touring or?
Yeah, in the last couple of years, we've managed to spend some time when we were recording and whatnot, but beyond touring, now that we live separately, that's basically it.
It's either like 100% on or just nothing.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We're like currently 10 days into seeing each other all day, every day.
Are you sick
We're
of
in
it?
album rehearsals, not at all. I feels good, and we're about to do the next 6 months crazy on the road. So
Yeah.
a lot of time in each other's pockets, but
Yeah.
it's good.
Ask again in November.
Yeah, we will. We'll get you back.
I love it.
Did you guys pop over to LA to work with Caleb while, because you're living there, aren't you still?
So
Or?
I'm like, I kind of was, but now I'm
Yeah.
sort of,
Okay.
I'm a free agent.
Yeah. So did a lot of the recording happen over here or over there?
All in LA.
All in
yeah,
LA.
It was all
Yeah,
written there, it
awesome.
was all recorded there.
Yeah, cool.
Ashton spent quite a bit of time there, and then these two, Pepper and Kieran, would come over quite
Yeah.
a lot for pre-production. And we did 3 blocks of recording.
Yeah.
That sort of totaled the 3 months. So yeah.
Those frequent flyer points racking up nice and easy.
We all, except for Caleb, lost our status. Because touring is where you get the status credits. This is very boring.
No,
No, this is my kryptonite.
Yeah.
We,
I
I
like
can't
talking
get into
about
the
this.
lounge unless
Yeah.
he's there.
Yeah, I'm platinum.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I am. Hey, this album is beautiful. I had the joy of listening to it riding on a bike this morning.
Aww.
That's a
Great
good
way to
activity
do
for
it.
it, I think.
It
not
was
a real
perfect.
bike. It's a Lime bike.
It's a real bike? Yeah. Just because I have to pay for it and it's got graffiti all over it doesn't make it any less of a real
It would have been a
bike.
lie if you had said like it was like an exercise bike at the gym. Like that would have been like, come on. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a Lime bike is a bike.
Lime
I
bike is
guess.
bike.
I refuse to ride them.
It's got 2 wheels and it's on the road. It's a bike.
But
I
isn't it
think.
electric? Anyway, that doesn't matter.
It might be the
The
first
point
time.
is, the album sounds amazing on a
It
bike.
does, yeah.
Where did you dream of people listening to this? In what kind of activity or context?
On a bike.
Yeah, purely
Yeah.
bike-based listening. We prefer
Honestly, yeah.
this one.
Bike sales are going to go through the roof.
I always think music's for driving. I think for me, like, that's
Yeah.
how I always think about music. So hopefully driving
Yeah.
down the coast somewhere.
Just seconds before you guys walked in, Nick and I were saying that both of our favourite song on the album is Whatever. Do you guys each have a favourite song from this album?
I think we have like Ashton called it before, a family favorite right now, which is probably August. Well, at least I don't know about you, Kieran, but
Yeah,
Ashton and
I
I are
would
kind of
say
running
the
that.
same.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's a bit of a sleeper one for us that probably won't have the focus of, it won't be necessarily on radio or like, serviced in the same way, but it means a lot to us.
Yeah.
It's a long time coming, that song.
What do you I sometimes wonder with that, like sometimes and quite often I feel the band's favorite is not the one that's kind of picked as the commercial hit and the one that we push to the streaming services and radio stations and stuff. Do you think that's a good thing? Like, do you think that's kind of a nice thing?
I kind of think so. I think it's also an extension of the fact that we just work with more people and there are more people involved in the project on sort of the label side and creatively or otherwise. It's nice to have differing opinions, and I also think some of those thoughts they belong to us as a group, the 4 of us. Like, and what we think isn't necessarily going to be what everyone else thinks, and that's cool. It's kind of like a secret we get to keep or something.
It's such a different relationship. I
That's- yeah,
think.
yeah.
It's like for us, we hear this music for so long before it comes out, and it means something to us in terms of like our aspirations as artists, and things that we want to tick off for ourselves, and the kind of music that we want to make. That doesn't always necessarily like translate in the exact same way to someone who's just listening to it for the first time and wants to experience the music. Like we can't really experience the music the way that somebody can who didn't make it.
I've
Kind
been
of jealous of them a little bit.
Yeah.
The August for me, like that song was a year and a half in the making, the writing process. The last part, the counter melody that you mostly hear Pepper singing was written the last day of recording, the morning of, in my house before we went in. And that, just like that for me, like I was crying, writing it and singing it. It was like, that just makes it a favorite, and that's just a personal experience with the song that no one else can have.
Yeah.
So of course I love it for that reason.
The
Yeah.
very last line of the song is the name of the album as well.
And it was
So,
the last thing anyone
Yeah.
did on the record was you singing that.
Aw.
So that feels really poetic to us.
Yeah.
You've tied up that little bow at the very end.
Yeah.
It's all one big
Bring it all
gift now.
together.
What I love about this record as well is it feels, I had that joyous experience listening to it on the aforementioned Lime Bike, but there is such a yearning in so many of these songs as well, and such a kind of melancholy, but it's expressed in this kind of beautiful, glimmery kind of way. And I suppose it's kind of why people have fallen in love with you guys, is that you marry those two worlds so beautifully. Has that been a kind of conscious thing with this record, to kind of dress these kind of sad bits up in hope, or does it just kind of come out that way because that's the people that you are?
I mean, lyrically, that's something that I've always gravitated towards. I think those feelings feel accessible, and I always want to be moved by the lyrics. For me, like, what makes a good song, if I'm writing it, is that I feel like, oh, geez, like that hits. Like I feel something from that. And I think the way that we've always written, like musically, is because of, it's focused on how it fits in a live room. We've always been that kind of band, and so we want to make music that makes people dance and jump, and I think we still have that, baked into us a little bit, to the subconscious, about how we make music and the purpose of the music in a lot of ways.
I like the idea that people can listen in any kind of mood. Like if they're feeling happy, the song might be fun to dance around to, but if they're feeling sad, they can have a little cry or
Get
something.
sadder.
Yeah. Really hear it.
It really does feel like music for all moods, and that was the
Yeah.
thing I was hearing earlier. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm in this kind of middle ground today, but I'm like, if I go on that side of the road or that side of the road, not the physical road on the aforementioned line, but the emotional road, I'm like, this album can still be a companion, I think.
Yeah.
That kind of idea of companionship, I feel like this is a band that has for a long time been a companion to so many people, particularly young people. And I think over the last 5 years, you guys have been one of the few bands that have really been a constant in so many young Australians' lives. Have you got a kind of grasp of the impact that you as a band have had on kind of Australian youth culture, really, of the last kind of half a decade?
That's a really nice thing to say and crazy thought. Sometimes I find it hard. I don't know about you guys. We spent a lot of time away. The last year and a half has been strange because we've stepped away from touring and been quite, it's been us together, and making music is really weird because you doubt everything and question everything. And as soon as we start doing this again and we start getting back on the road and we see how this tour is going and people start reaching out about new songs, it starts to dawn on me personally a little bit that is out there, and that people haven't gone away. They still remember and they're excited for what's next. So yeah, it's pretty special.
When you're in the writing process, do you because you've got this tour coming up, are you kind of visualizing the tour while you're writing the album at the same time? Like, can you kind of see it on stage? You're like, cool, this is how we're going to do this too?
I think certain parts of songs you think about, damn, that's going to go off live.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you're trying to really bring an energy to a song. I think about personally the live setting for sure with that stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely even that, like, when you do that first kind of harmony bit where the instruments drop out in whatever, that's a moment where I'm like, I'm seeing, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
You visualize it.
Yeah.
Is it kind of, do you kind of, start writing in that direction, then go, let's actually drop all the instruments out because this will fucking go off at a festival in front of 10,000 people? Do you kind of play into the ego a little bit sometimes?
That song is actually the opposite, funnily. That song started out really like what you hear in that first part, so stripped back. And it's one of the songs I'm most proud of because I feel like it was presented to the band as this very like stripped pop song, and you guys labored over it and made something really amazing that is like feels like a Spacey Jane song, but feels like an absolute evolution of what we are. So I think it's almost like these
Not
guys.
without protest.
Sorry, not without protest.
Some time.
I would say I felt like I had to advocate for it, but like everyone was on board.
I don't know about this one.
And now it's like I think it's one of my favorites for sure.
How do you
Absolutely.
go with that conflict resolution sometimes? Have
Oh,
you
we're
just
so
got it
good
down
at
pat?
it. Now we're so good at it.
You've gone pretty
good
After
at it.
3 albums, I think, it's such an important part of what we do together is obviously we're compromising. We're constantly talking through things, decisions, issues, conflicts, whatever. But I'm so proud of us for that because it's like that's what gives the project legs for the long term. Like we have to be getting on and we have to be making decisions that we believe in together. And I don't know, I obviously love all of you, so it's important to me that stays within the band. And
It's a good
we're
life
really
skill
good.
for outside of the band as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I think because the first time ever I was in writing rooms with other writers for this record, and I've always really struggled with criticism about songs that I've written because it feels like this is like me. Like, how dare you? Like, are you saying I'm bad? And so learning, and that's what I found hard about writing sessions
Yes.
at first. Was I knew it.
You're
dude.
bad.
I knew it. They're like advocating for myself when I thought something was good and other people don't, or telling someone I didn't like an idea when they thought it was really good. Like, those are things you have to learn in real time really quickly because you've got 6 hours to write a song. And so I think I got way better at it than I'd been before, which probably helped the whole process. My ego slowed a step down a little bit, which is really nice.
It's also great working with a producer because they're like
Mhm.
a third party who
Mhm.
obviously have amazing ideas themselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Tell us about
Totally.
this amazing producer that you've brought in
Mike
on this
Crossy.
project.
Michael Crossy.
Yeah.
What a man! What a
What a man.
discography!
Crazy.
How did we work out this was the human to attach to this, beautiful marriage of human beings already?
It was like a multi-step process. I met with him once in his studio. The studio's incredible. I could talk about it for hours. We all could, but it's this vintage wonderland that you also is really quick to work in, which is a rarity. Normally you have one or the other. And he is kind of the antithesis of LA in a lot of ways. He's from Northern Ireland. He's a bit slower. He doesn't have the flashy sort of like, you're amazing kind of mentality. Like, it's just like, he'll tell you how it is. And then we all met with him and, loved his energy. And also it's like he's made these albums like 1975, Arctic Monkeys, Wolf Alice, a huge range of very different sounding, incredible guitar records that makes me think, oh, like he gets the best out of people. So let's look at him.
and he was so on board from the start as well. His passion
Yeah.
was just like, oh,
That's totally, yeah. He made us feel excited about it, I think.
We took us some getting used to. I mean, we did a week with him to see if we really liked it, and he was annoyed about that because he's like, just wanted to dive straight in the album. Like, no, just one song for now.
It's funny. Someone put it to me the other day. It's like, yeah, you trialed Mike Crossy.
We'll see how you go, man.
Oh, it all worked out. It's fine.
Exactly. And that, I think, shows everything you guys have spoken about in terms of the way that you approach collaboration is so healthy. And I don't think it's a regular thing. And I think that comes down to how tight-knit you are as a group as well. On the healthiness trick, the next 6 months you're going to be relentlessly touring. What are you going to do differently this time touring as to the past? Are there any things you've learned from the touring you've done extensively over the last few years that you're going to change this time?
There's a few central rules for sure. I mean, I think we've all settled down a little bit as we've gotten older and, things are less novel and exciting for the first time. Mostly to do with alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, don't drink if the following day you have to get on a plane and play a show. That's probably the core rule that I've at least given to myself. But yeah, I think we're all pretty grown up about touring these days, at least I dare to say.
I don't know if there's any like central lesson I'd take into this from the last set of touring, because like we have done a lot of touring over the last 5 years. I feel like maybe we got pretty close to ironing out the kinks by the time we got to sort of the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think we're pretty conscious of the way that we affect each other
Mm.
when you're in each other's space all the time. And I think that's like a really good thing that we've figured out, is like respecting each other's spaces and just understanding the way that like our moods play in with each other and how we can like ruin each other's day.
Yeah.
One is in a
seriously.
bad mood or something like that, and you carry that with you.
Seeing when like cheeky becomes like grating.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, they're not enjoying me doing this anymore.
We have a rule in our team that if you're having a shit day, but you're just projecting it, not that you're being a shit person, but you've got to just come in and be like, guys, I'm having a shit day, I'm feeling a bit shit, but it's not
Yep.
about any of you. Like,
I love that.
I might be in a bad mood, but it's nothing to do with here.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about it, or I do. And that's like that's our only rule. We're like, if you're having a shit day, tell us.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that.
So
Yeah.
healthy.
Wait, let's adopt that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Doing it every day.
Thanks.
Guys, it's a shit day again.
Legit, same again.
Taking it in turns. What number of
Marking them
days
down.
becomes a problem? I'm thinking like 4 or 5 days in a
Yeah.
row. becomes
Nick's
a
other
problem.
rule is that if his facial hair gets too long and he looks a bit, I'm like,
I'm
I've got
having
to
a
really
depressive
check in on him.
episode.
I'm like, okay.
And it was-
I can relate to that.
And it's getting there. at the moment.
You have a physical tell. You wear it.
Yeah, I just have to look at Kara to be like, uh-oh.
The hair's back. It's like the Peter the horse is here. It's like,
Yeah, Peter, the horse is
the hair
here.
is back. This album is called If That Makes Sense. It is from Spacey Jane, and it has been an honor and a pleasure to have you guys sit across from us for the last whatever many minutes it was. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you
So
so
lovely.
much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.